So I have a question, and keep in mind that I'm asking this for a friend. It in no way has anything at all to do with me. But is there someplace, like, I don't know, a club or a group or something for people who have or use too many lip products? Like, I don't know, I guess this friend of mine really could use some help, or possibly a place to buy more, because apparently they think you can never have too many lip products. So yeah, if anybody happens to know a place or anything like that, you know, hit me up, let me know. I'll pass on the info to my friend. I'm sure they would be very appreciative of this information. Hi friends, how are you today? Welcome back. My name is Lizbeth, and I hope you are all having a fantastic Friday today. Yay, Friday! It's the end of the week. I am not a makeup artist. I am completely self-trained, but I do like to do makeup. I like to play around with new looks or just do my makeup, and I like to tell stories. And so that's what I do. I do my makeup while I tell stories. So I couldn't resist making fun of myself earlier because I was going through some things last night and I saw I have like 5 million, okay, not really 5 million, but I just have a lot of lip products, especially like in my box of fun and in my purse. So I've tried to carry a small purse before, but I feel like I always go back to a big one. My husband is not always happy with me when I carry a big purse, but I'm like, you know what? This is real. This is my purse. This is me. You gotta love me. I'm basically that song from The Greatest Showman. But, so, anyway, I was going through some things last night, and I saw I just have so many lip products. And I'm like, do I really need this many? Yes. Yes, I do. I don't know why I do. I feel like it's almost like a safety blanket. Why do I need a safety blanket? I don't know. And for what? No idea either. But I guess that's how I roll. But yeah, that's my story about all my lip products. And so, oh, and you might notice I have Jack and Jacquelina back again. They don't really have anything to do with my story today, but they're, you know, they're cute. They're good they like to keep me company. But today, oh, and I was talking to my husband about the stories I do, and he's like, I'm like, since Halloween season, since it's almost Halloween, I decided I would tell different Halloween stories, maybe from different cultures or whatever. And but I'm like, but I'm not choosing any of the super scary ones, because I know I've said it before, I just don't enjoy being super scared. And he's like, well, what do you do with the super scary ones? I'm like, I ignore them. He's like, pretty sure he called me a chicken. I'm like, yep, pretty much. Hey, there's no shame in not wanting to be purposefully scared, I feel. That's my personal opinion, and I'm sticking to it. But today's tale is from Ukraine. It's a story called The Cow's Head. And you know, funny, I think I also saw when I was researching this that there's a, I believe it's from Japan. There's another story called The Cow's Head, and apparently it's like the scariest story ever. And I don't know. I didn't really look into it anymore because that just kind of turned me off. But maybe I should look into it more. I don't know if, I'm sure it's just and it's like people have died. Like you'll read it and then you'll die or something of fright. And I'm pretty sure that's just a tall tale. But I don't know. Maybe I should research it a little more. But anyway, this story from Ukraine, it is not the scariest story I've ever read or heard. It's actually kind of a cute story. So, there was this girl named Oksana, and she lived with her father and stepmother and stepsister. Well, the stepmother did not like Oksana and her stepsister Olena. Well, the stepmother, for some reason, did not like Oksana, and she favored her real daughter, Olena. And before long, all the housework had fallen to Oksana, while Olena grew lazy and spoiled and went to parties. Oksana was left home doing the housework, and her hands grew red and chapped. And unfortunately, Oksana's father was a timid man and couldn't stand up to his wife. Well, one year, the winter snows were especially harsh. That's what I'm going to do. And so, Oksana's stepmother told the father that, hold on, I want to make sure I'm telling this right. Yeah, the father was timid and couldn't bring himself to defy his wife, and Olena grew lazy and spoiled and went to parties and stuff. Well, Oksana's hands grew chapped and rough, and just from all this work she was doing. So, one year the winter storms were especially harsh, and so Oksana's stepmother told the father that he had to send away Oksana. And he was not happy about this, but again, he couldn't, since he was timid, he had a hard time standing up to her. So he took her out to a cottage in the wood, left her with a loaf of bread and some cheese, and then left. And so Oksana's sitting here in this cabin all by herself with a loaf of bread and some cheese, and so she finds there's a bed in the cabin, and there's a table, and there's a rusty old pot. So she puts the bread and cheese away, and she puts the bread and cheese away, and then I know this story, I'm just making sure I've got it. But she realizes that this bread and cheese, it's not going to last her all winter. So she makes a snare out of some thin tree branches. And I didn't want to do that. And catches a winter rabbit. And with this rabbit, she makes a nice stew. So she eats her stew and then gets, oh, I forgot. The woods that she's in are said to be filled with monsters and demons. So, you know, she's a little nervous, which, you know, totally understandable. Nobody wants to meet monsters or demons. Hold on just a second. Side note, I've got to show you these. I found these, here's another one. I found these makeup brushes, that's what I'm looking for, a little while ago at Walmart, I think. And they're Harry Potter. They're wands. I love them. They're kind of my favorite things. Anyway, so back to the story. These woods are said to be filled with monsters and demons. So yeah, she's a little nervous, but you know, there's not a whole lot she can do at this point. She's kind of stuck. So she finishes her stew and goes to bed, and you know, she'll figure out the rest in the morning. Well, she's in bed and she hears something. She hears there's knocking at the door. Well, she's in the middle of the woods. There's nobody there. So she's understandably, in my opinion, a little freaked out. So she just kind of lays there for... she had been sleeping, just kidding. She had been sleeping when she heard this knock, and it woke her up, and she's just sitting there, terrified, because there's a knock in the middle of the woods. She's all by herself. There should be no knock in the middle of the woods all by herself. So she's just laying there terrified, and again she hears another knock. Well, now she's really terrified. So she gets under the bed, or she and she thinks of these monsters that are supposedly in this wood. And she's laying there under the blanket, just terrified. Which, you know, I probably would be too, not gonna lie. So she's laying there terrified, and she just not really sure what to do. She's just hoping that this knock will go away. She wants to go back to sleep, just go away. But again she hears, it's not going away. So finally, she gets up out of bed and yes, I did. So she realizes that this knocking sound is not going to go away. So she gets up out of bed, grabs a stick, and goes to the door. And when she gets to the door, no one's there. She opens the door, she's got her stick, she's ready, but no one's there. So she's like, and her heart is just pounding as she looks out. And then she looks down and it's a demon. And, you know, she freaks out a little bit because there's a demon at her door. And it had no body. And she's like, who are you? And it answers and it says, I am Cow's Head. And she looks, and sure enough, it's a cow's head. And it's just this brown, shriveled cow's head. Or it's a head with brown, it's a brown head with curved horns and somehow haunted and empty eyes. And Cow's Head said, I am hungry and cold. May I come in? And, oh, I am hungry and cold. May I sleep by your fire? And Oksana gulped down her horse. I don't know what that sound was, sorry. I was trying to gulp, but let me try that again. And she's like, finally she's like, yeah, okay. And so Cow's Head says, will you lift me over the threshold? And so she does. What am I looking for now? That's what I'm looking for. So she lifts the cow's head over the threshold and takes it to the fire. And then, she lifts the cow's head over the fire, and then it tells her to place it by the fire. So she does. And then the cow's head says, I am hungry. And Oksana still has some of the stew that she made. But she was going to eat it for her. She was saving it for her breakfast. Oh, sorry. The cow's head said, I am hungry, feed me. And Oksana still had some of her stew, like I just said. But Oksana still had some of her stew left over. But she had been saving it for her breakfast. But she's like, okay, fine. So she feeds the cow's head. Am I saying ox head? I mean cow's head. But she feeds the cow's head the stew that she had been saving for her breakfast. Just kind of pours it into its head. And then after the cow's head had eaten, it said, I will sleep now. And there was no softening in its attitude toward her or anything. But still, Oksana, she gave the cow's head her blanket and made do with just her cloak, and just slept in a cold corner of the cabin with just her cloak for warmth. Well, she woke up the next morning and the cow's head was gone. But where it had been, there was a trunk. And she opens this trunk. And in this trunk, there are piles of beautiful gowns. And underneath these gowns, there are mounds of gold and jewels. And it's just wonderful. And she's just so excited about this. She's just staring at this, like, she doesn't quite get, she's like, I don't understand. And all of a sudden she hears a voice saying, she hears her father's voice saying, daughter, I am come. And her father had finally defied his wife and come to get his daughter. And she runs into his arms. And she's like, Father, look at all these jewels, look at all this. And shows him her amazing fortune. And her father takes her home. And, oh, hold on. And she tells him about everything that happened, and he takes her home. And, hold on. Sorry, hold on, give me 2 seconds. Maybe a little bit more, give or take. Ugh. Anyway, so. Oh, I forgot that. So Oksana's father takes her home, and in the village she is just celebrated for her she was honored in town for her compassion and her, for her compassion and her bravery, and she won scores of suitors. And soon after this, she married. Well, Oksana's stepsister, Olena, remember her? That's really bright. She had heard of Oksana's great fortune, and so she decides that she's gonna go to this village. Not this village, this cottage. And so she can have this great fortune that Oksana has had. So she goes and spends the night, but when Cow's Head comes knocking, she's too lazy to get up and let him in. So when she woke up the next morning, all of her gowns and her possessions had been turned to dust. Yeah. But Oksana, on the other hand, lived a long and happy life in prosperity, and grew to a ripe old age in prosperity. Moral of the story, kids: be kind. You know, when somebody needs help, give them help. Don't be too lazy to go help people. I don't know if that's the moral of the story actually, but I feel like it is, because when you help people, good things happen to you. I truly believe that. Laziness doesn't always pay. But that's the Ukrainian ghost story. I didn't think it was too bad. I actually quite liked that story. Alright, what am I forgetting? Don't think I'm forgetting anything. Except... Alright, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go do my lips, and I'll be right back to wrap up. Can I tell you, I don't know if I love this look. I don't know if I love the pop of blue I have there. I was kind of going for more folly, but it's not as folly as I'd like. And I feel like I have a complicated relationship with contouring. Sometimes I feel like I nail it. It's great. And other days, today's not terrible, but I feel like I curve it maybe a little bit too much sometimes. I need to work on more going. Oof. Anyways, and also, you know, for like having 5 million lip products, generally, I put it on when I do my makeup, and then I leave it alone. Like, I'll reapply sometimes if I need to, like after I eat or whatever, if I do something that's not super long lasting, or I'll put on a lip gloss if it gets a little dry and whatever. But other than that, I pretty much just leave it alone. So I know it's weird, but I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope that you all have a great rest of your day. And please remember to be patient and kind when interacting with people. Everyone has a story. We don't know what it is. And a little kindness and patience goes a long way. It makes the world a better place. Love people, accept people, make awesome choices, and I will see you next time. Oh, please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!